Of all the phrases bandied about between the talking heads in spring 2020, the one that caused me the most reflection was the new normal. For our family, the new normal manifested itself in stronger interpersonal communication, better quality time, and a lot of tangible love. As I wrap up this Corona Diaries series, I want to think back to some specific experiences over the past 4 months. Learning to work from home was both exhilarating and exhausting, as many people in the world now know. I remember running staff Zoom meetings in May, just before the first quarantine ended. What do we do when we are overcome by our trouble? We can do one simple thing, and this is what David does. David says in verse 16, "I call upon God, and the Lord will save me." Here is the difference between the righteous man, the righteous woman, and just anybody else in the world, is that the righteous are people that trust and believe fully that God will save them. A Zoom lesson should have an objective just like a classroom lesson should have. Just like every lesson that you teach in our school, you have an objective written on the board. The same should be true of the meeting. And if you have a clear objective, by the way, then you will not become unfocused in the lesson. You will know, this is the main point that I want to hit. These are the things that I need to observe. Then there was the day when I was able to go back to school. We even posed for a social distancing shot on that first day back, in our school auditorium, with our masks on. Our boys found all sorts of new things to do. In May, they began to explore the mountain by our apartment, using sticks to chop down thorns and briars.
This is what you get!
In the evenings, they played Rush Hour, a logic game, or sometimes Chinese checkers, a great game just before going to bed. Speaking of going to bed, I think there were 4 separate nights during Ramadan that we were awakened by celebratory parades that made stops directly in front of our house between 10:30 and 11 o'clock p.m., rattling our windows with rock concert volume singing and merrymaking.
Mommy made it.
Mama made this sushi?
Yeah.
Whoa, let's try it. I'm gonna get these bad boys right here.
I didn't use those things. It's great. Come there. That's very easy. It's very easy.
The quarantine itself had given us time to do all sorts of things. One day, we did a spring cleaning of our landlord's storage room. Another day, we repaired our punctured basketballs using an old tube of liquid gasket maker. Then there was the afternoon that Stephen and I repaired Sebastian's bed, and he got to use the drill all on his own. Now, turn it on again to pull it out. Unexpected things happened too, of course. One day our landlord stopped by to repair our drains. A little while later, an old tank on the roof burst, and we lost the water despite our best attempts to patch the leak.
It won't work. I found it because I was just sitting there and then suddenly the rust popped open on me.
I remember the weekend that we got to go to church again, when the group meeting restrictions were lifted. The first Sunday at our church in Bethlehem was pretty special. Then, we had an outdoor church picnic in Jerusalem, before we were permitted to be inside the building. As the afternoon wore on, our boys stuck to one main event: American football.
Oh, down, right there, you got him, one hand. Oh, touchdown!
Of all the new things that we experienced this past spring, the one that was the most startling was a direct answer to a prayer that I'd prayed on January 1st. The 4 of us began to experience God's tangible love for us in a new kind of normalcy, an extravagant outpouring of grace. you have? You have apple pie? Is it good? Very, very good. Oh, Master Instructor, I ask that in this year you teach the four of us truer love for you, stronger reliance on you, and deeper gratitude for you. Today we have a bread emergency. So I'm riding my bike to downtown Beit Safafa so that I can get some bread for the family.